Let's head overseas now, and with just 4 days until the US election, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have returned to the battleground states in America's Rust Belt as the race for the White House enters its final sprint. Our correspondent Elias Kluwer joins us now from outside a Trump rally in the swing state of Michigan. Elias, good morning to you. Things certainly heating up now. Why have both candidates decided to head to America's Rust Belt?
Good morning, Joe. Well, two reasons really. Wisconsin and Michigan, two swing states, and they're both worth 25 electoral college votes between them, which means if you lose them both, the pathway to becoming president becomes very narrow. Win them both, then the pathway becomes very wide. It's that simple. Now, Kamala Harris is spending today across Lake Michigan in Wisconsin. Donald Trump will be arriving here in Warren, Michigan very shortly. We've just seen a sea of red caps make their way into this Macomb Community Centre where Donald Trump is expected to give his remarks in about an hour or so. In fact, you might see some Secret Service filing in behind me shortly. Now, the significance of him being in Warren, Michigan is that this is the old Detroit suburbs. Detroit, a city, of course, built on the auto industry, and it's still a very significant employer here. Now, traditionally, that demographic, I guess, has been heavily unionised and has gravitated towards the Democratic Party. But the Trump team believes they're making significant ground within that key voting group. And certainly some of those quote-unquote blue-collar workers that we spoke to today provided full-throated endorsements of Donald Trump. And they told us that they believe many of their colleagues will be voting the same way. Let's have a listen to one of them.
Because I've been doing an auto plant rally every week since Memorial Day at the end of May, and we've been talking to the UAW members as they come off their shift at Chrysler, GM, and Ford plants, and they're telling me that 65%, a solid 65%, are supporting Donald Trump. One of the main reasons is the Harris-Biden EV mandates, which will destroy our industry. Another reason is the fact that Kamala Harris was a co-sponsor of the Green New Deal legislation, which puts a deadline of 2035 to eliminate production of the internal combustion engine here in America. And that will destroy our industry.
Now, Elias, Donald Trump's comments about a prominent Republican critic have caused some outrage. Just tell us about those comments.
Joe, this has really overshadowed Donald Trump's Rust Belt push. He made comments with right-wing TV host Tucker Carlson about Liz Cheney, a former Republican congresswoman, but an outspoken critic of Donald Trump. And certainly there's no love lost between the two. But Donald Trump certainly took that acrimony a step further in that interview with Tucker Carlson, describing her as a very dumb person, a war hawk, and even raising the hypothetical, I guess, of her facing a firing squad. Let's have a listen to those comments and then the rejection of those comments by the Vice President Kamala Harris.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
This must be disqualifying. Anyone who wants to be president of the United States who uses that kind of violent rhetoric is clearly disqualified and unqualified to be president.
Now, we've been speaking to many supporters of Donald Trump here today who have backed the former president's comments. Certainly, Liz Cheney is seen as part of the old Republican establishment, which is, I guess, not particularly popular amongst Donald Trump's supporters, and they really, in fact, like the fact that Donald Trump is, I guess, someone who speaks his mind. Let's have a listen to some of those supporters who, again, were quite supportive of those remarks around Liz Cheney.
They've changed all of the things he said. They turned it around. He said, how would she like it if guns were pointed at her? He doesn't want to send people to war.
When he's elected, he'll take out retribution on people that disagree with him.
I wouldn't put anything past Trump.
Is that a good thing, though?
Yes. That's the type of leader we need.
It's a dictatorship.
He focuses. We put him in a position of power to make decisions, to make hard decisions,
And that's what we're voting for. That's why we trust him. I would trust him a whole lot more than I would trust Kamala's decision, because she doesn't know what her decision is. One minute she's black, 1 minute she's Indian, 1 minute she's pro-choice, 1 minute she's pro-life, 1 minute she's Southern, 1 minute she's Northern. She just doesn't know what she is. But Trump always knows what he is.
So there's supporters outside the rally here who've been waiting for hours, by the way, to get into the Macomb Community College to watch Donald Trump speak this evening. Now, in terms of the race for the state of Michigan, currently the polls have it neck and neck. And as I said, whoever loses that state will have a very narrow path towards the presidency. So it's critical. Really, the pollsters don't know who will win. We'll have to find out on Tuesday night, our time here in the US. Guys?
All right, Elias Kluwer in Michigan, thank you so much.